Hello, hello, my desmadres souls. Welcome to Coming Home to Self No Bypassing, where we have honest conversations with our inner voice aloud. This is a space for unfiltered reflections, spiritual growth, messy truths, and yes, a little bit of humor along the way because we are here for the human experience, not to achieve perfection. I am Asa Luna, and this is our journey home. So, the desmadre of the day. Honestly, it's been a really crazy times right now. Not in a bad way, in a good way. I just gotta tell you this story. So today it's Saturday, and so yesterday on Friday, in the morning when I woke up, I I checked because I'm part of a union. I'm an electrician, and I checked my website, my union website, and honestly, I've been looking for work, but also have not been looking for work, if that makes sense. It's been a little bit interesting just because I've been feeling like I just wanted to go work for a place that I felt aligned. I didn't want to go back to a place where I didn't feel like I belong or I didn't feel like it was for me. And so I've been working really hard on taking action, inspire action that aligns with what I want and truly not accept otherwise. And that's been big because sometimes I do want to take action in this out of desperation versus inspiration. And so I, I've been actually doing really good about that because sometimes I do feel like, oh man, I need to make money or I need to go back to work. So I start like looking for jobs and stuff, and it doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm just doing it out of desperation. So this time when I was looking just the website in the morning, I decided to just look through and I'm like I'm not going to apply for jobs that I know are not aligned, and I don't want to go back to a job that I don't fully enjoy. I want to go back to do what I want to do, what I said works for me, what makes me happy, not just money. So, that being said, I saw this job. There were four jobs, and I saw this one job that it really caught my attention. It sounded like it was gonna be really good for me. But also another thing about this is that we have a list. We have a list of people who don't have a job currently, and my number in this list it's a little high still. And people have told me, electricians as well that are in that list, they're like, well, you can start applying for jobs if you are in that category. Even though seems high, you can still apply. And I said, oh, okay. But since there are so many electricians without work, I um I wasn't sure. I think I did it because I felt like it aligned with me, but I know I didn't apply for that job out of desperation. I did it because it sounded good. It's aligned with my beliefs and with what I want, and so I did it. And I didn't do it with like also desperation feelings of like, oh, I really want that job. I want that job. Oh my god, I want that job, and I need to get that job because I need to pay my bills. I didn't do it like that, which sometimes I will caught myself doing that. They're just like, oh, I really want that job because they pay a lot, or I really want that job because they have a lot of hours, so I want that job because I'm gonna get a lot of OT. So I didn't do it like that. This time I did it because I saw it. It resonated with me. I felt like I'm gonna do it, but I'm letting go. Whatever. This is what I want, but I'm putting it out there. But I'm not doing it because I'm desperate for money or I'm desperate just to have a job. So I did that and I honestly forgot about it. And me and my husband went to run some errands and we were running around. And also, um, we were on our way back from the store. And then I was like, oh, I was just bored in the car. And I think I just went through my phone. I was looking through my emails and I see this email from my union and it said like I got the job and I was like whoa. I was like whoa, like it just threw me off because I was like oh my gosh, like that's crazy. Like I didn't think, I mean, not that I did or didn't, it's just that I just put it out there, but I wasn't like oh like checking my email every 5 minutes, or I was looking to get this job. And it was actually like whoa, like what the heck. And I was like, and it says you have to show up before 2, and it was already like 11:30, and I was like oh shoot. And I live an hour away from this place, so I'm like oh my gosh, we like have to head back home, which we were already on our way home. And I just told my husband, I am going to, once we get home, I'm gonna have to head over there. And but everything was aligned perfectly. And I talk about these other things in these other episodes about the more I listen to my inner true voice, the more it comes to talk to me and the more effortless life seems like it's going for me. And that's exactly how that day went. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because in the morning, I usually wake up and I don't really check my phone like that right away, especially the jobs. I don't do that. But that day it just seems like I wanted to do that. Like I had the intuition of doing that. And on top of that, the first thing I do is I get up, get ready, I go to the gym. This day I said I need a rest day. And I'm really hard on that. Sometimes I feel bad on having rest days, and it's also a battle in my head that I'm learning to control as well. To remember that I also need to let my body heal. So I said, okay, it was a weird day because I started with looking at my phone. I applied for the job. I completely forgot about it. And then I got up and I started getting ready, like actually ready, like makeup and clothes. And usually that's not what I do. I usually get ready for the gym. And so I was ready and I told my husband, let's go run these errands. And then I also arrange um, with I have these friends that are really nice, and they like to have my baby sometimes just to spend time with him. And so I had that arrangement previously with them. So I said, let's go drop him off and then let's go run the errands that we have to do. So that was like perfect timing. Like, first of all, I didn't go to the gym. I got ready. Then I went to drop on my son. Then I did all the errands I had to do. And right after finishing all that, the next that I saw the email about the job. And then, so it was perfect because we were even, I didn't see it at the store. I didn't see it while we were running errands. I saw it into when we were on our way back home. So it was perfect because I'm like, this is perfect. We're going back home. I'm already ready. My baby, I don't have my baby, so I also don't have to worry about like where am I gonna leave the baby. And then I just got in the car, and then it was the perfect time for me to get there on time. And I got there, and everything seemed fine. I had to go through a drug test, and that also went by really fast. I didn't have to wait too long. And then I talked to the owner of the company, and he sounded really nice. And Um, we talk about the job and my experience and the reason why I wanted to work there and the reason why I applied for that job. And it just felt like it's for me. And it felt like it was aligned. It was the perfect time. I didn't feel any resistance at all. And I'm still like like in shock, but now before I used to be in shock and still not trusting, like suspicious of the situation. Because I used to be like that when something good happens, like I'll be very suspicious about it. But this time I'm like, nope. When intrusive thoughts, my mind sometimes will come and tell me, oh, but what if you can't do the job? Oh, but what if it's too hard? You haven't been working since October. And then what if, it's all these thoughts. Um, and so I feel like usually I will give more importance to those um, thoughts that come from my mind about doubting myself. But this time I said, nope, not today. I didn't silence them anymore. I didn't go like shut up, like because I used to do that. I used to be like shush. I don't. I'm not listening to that. But I also was learning that for our brain to rewire itself and to redirect the energy to where you want it to go, um, you have to not be like, nope, stop it, because that's still giving energy towards those thoughts. That's still putting energy towards that, and you still reflecting that you're scared of those thoughts. So now what I'm doing is, um, I don't silence them anymore. I notice them, and all I said is, okay, you're familiar. Okay, I know this feeling. I know where you're coming from. But I don't silence it. I don't talk to it. I just say that, and then but I'm continue doing what I'm doing. And I noticed that works better because, but you have to start somewhere. So if this is like a new thing that you're trying to do, you do have to start by like, okay, those are intrusive thoughts, don't talk to me, because you have to start somewhere, and those are baby steps, and it is hard to just continue doing what you're doing when you're freaking out about money situation or not having a job or your health or whatever issues you are going through. It is hard to just continue doing what you're doing without freaking out. So this is like the second stage, I guess, that I'm in, or third, I guess third, that I am now noticing those thoughts, but not talking to them, not interacting with them, not putting any effort into it, not putting any energy into it. I'm just allowing them to exist, but by me continue doing what I'm doing, it's taking away that power from those thoughts and putting it in the task at hand, I guess, that I'm doing. So that's what I did. Um, I did notice those thoughts, but I didn't do anything with them. I just kept like getting ready to grab all my papers and then started driving towards the job and doing all these things that I needed to do um, to get ready for this job. And so it's super crazy because I also I also noticed that something came back into like, and there was, I'm pretty sure it was my inner voice talking to me, and telling me like, you see, when you let go, when you're not attached anymore to material stuff, to money, to desperation, to all these things that are heavy, when you completely let go, things happen. And I know like I see this a lot on my Instagram feed and stuff that it says like, when you chase, it's an action that you're doing, and whatever you're chasing is gonna keep running because that's what you're doing. You're chasing, so the universe, it's gonna give you more to chase. Like you continue chasing instead of attracting, instead of, and that's also another thing. Sorry, I'm like going all over the place, but um, this also, a lot of people, there are like some people that I have no judging, no nothing. I get it why sometimes new people to spirituality are a little bit suspicious of us because they say, oh, well, it's because I know this other person and they're very spiritual, air quotes, and they know all this knowledge and they know all these things, But then, yeah, they're just sitting there not doing anything with their lives. They think that everybody should be taking care of them. And that's not how it is at all. You still have to put effort, you still have to do work, but the difference is that you're doing things to better yourself and to be aligned with what you want, and it's still gonna take work. It's just gonna not feel like work because you're doing it happy, you're doing it inspired, you're doing it because you are going to achieve something that you're looking, that you want, that you are working towards. When it's desperate action, is you're working a job that is killing you, that you're not spending time with your family, that you are just like bitter and angry and upset all the time. That is the difference. That when you are doing, you're still gonna do work. It's just that you are working with your inner self, with your higher self, with God, aligning you to do what you're doing, um, with your goal, versus working just because you think that's the only way. And so I do know some people, a few people like that, um, that I guess use camouflage being lazy or wanting people to take care of them with the victim mindset. Um, they camouflage that for spirituality. Oh, it's because I'm manifesting it. Oh, it's because I'm attracting it. Oh, it's because God is going to provide. Okay, yes, honey, God is going to provide. And yes, you can manifest, but you still have to put the work. You still have to work on yourself. You still have to do something. You can't just sit there and then not work on yourself, not work on your body, not work on your mind, not work on your brain, not work on anything, and then expect to just everything come to you. That is not what this is about. So, what I'm talking about is letting go of everything that you believe, letting go of believing that I have to kill myself in order to me to make a living. Um, Letting go of materialistic stuff. And I I read this book, The Secret, and The Greatest Secret. That's the other book. The Greatest Secret talks about this girl. She said that she had a really nice home, a really beautiful house, and she it was so expensive to maintain. It was so expensive to keep, and she thought because she loved her house so much, she needed to work so much to even make to just make the payment, and she had no other life. She had no money, no extra money, and she felt like money was never enough, and she wasn't happy. But she said it's okay as long as I have my house. But then she realized she wasn't happy. She realized that she was always stressed out, and so that became like almost like you have something but then you love it, and then now becomes almost becomes something that you start like hating almost because then you have to work so hard to keep it. And I think that's what I'm talking about. She said something that really stuck on my head, and it was that I realized that I was putting so much effort and so much work, so much resistance. It felt like just to keep this house. Being I was losing who I am. I was losing sight of myself, and I wasn't living anymore because I was so focused on making money just to keep this house. And then once she realized that that is not aligned action, that she realized that's not what this is about, then she decided to say, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let go of this house. And even though it's a beautiful home, but it's not obviously aligned with me because I'm working so hard and this is all I do, work so I can keep this house. And so when she finally let go, um, they sold the house, and then she moved. and she realized that it was a more humble home. It was a little smaller, but she was happier. Um, and then I think, well, now she has a pretty big house again. But it's sometimes we um try to hang on to something so hard, and that's just our beliefs. That's not so much the house, is what represented for her. Like I can relate with that a lot, because I got my first home, I think I was like 28 or 27. And to me that was like the biggest achievement. To me that was like, oh my gosh, like this is, and I did feel scared. I felt scared, so scared to lose it. And I was always scared to lose it, and I was working so much. And it's like, it's because this is, I put my whole identity into this house. I put my whole identity on who I was in this house. This is what I am, and if I lose it, oh gosh, like it's over. And so that's the same with these jobs. It's like when it, I was working so hard to keep my house, and then I was doing these jobs because I was like, well, I have to work so hard, and it has to be a hard work, because that's what my mind knew. That's what my beliefs told me. Well, work is about working. It's not about enjoying. And if you're enjoying it, then you're not gonna make enough money. And if you don't make enough money, then you're not gonna be able to sustain this kind of living, or you're not gonna be able to sustain your house. And so once I the reason why I let go of my house the first time was because I was in a relationship, and that person wouldn't leave me, wouldn't leave me alone. And I wanted this person gone, and this person would not freaking leave me alone. And my fear was that maybe this, because I was married to this person actually. It was not good. It was the most terrible mistake. And I I feel like that was my biggest fear, because then I was now on my second home. Well, actually, I sold my first home hoping that this person will go away, because um, I bought this house and I was paying pretty much the majority of the bills. This person was only paying for his room, basically. He was my roommate, but he felt very comfortable in my home. Um, so that's why he didn't want to leave. And so when I I sold that house just to get rid of him. I mean, there were so many reasons, but that was one of the big ones. That is like, okay, I'm gonna sell this house, and we have to split. Like we have to be out by this time, by this date. And because before this person would use that as oh well, you always like kick me out of the house. And I said, no, well, it's because it is my house. Like if it was your house and I'm trying to separate from you, then I will leave. But this is my home, my son's in my home, so I'm asking you to leave. I pay pretty much all the bills. You only pay me like a very small amount that pretty much just covers your, no, I don't know, like the electricity maybe, or like the freaking water or something. Like it doesn't cover much. um so when I sold this house, um, I bought another house with my equity, with my money that I saved, with my income, and this person followed me. And I was like, fuck, like, how am I gonna get rid of this person? Uh, and so that's the first time that I actually learned to be bold and to be speak out for myself and just be mean, because he used to call me mean. But that's the reason why, is because I was like, dude, get the fuck out of my house. You need to get the fuck out of my house. Like, I'm done with you. Like, you're just like those bugs that live in the water, and they like attach to your skin, and they just suck all the blood out of you. That's what this person was to me. So I was very afraid to really take this legally, because I thought that maybe he was going to take away my home. And I didn't want to do that to my son. But it I wasn't at peace. I was not being very happy. And so then I finally had a conversation with myself. I had a realization, and I said, you know what? I'm letting go. I'm letting go of this home. I'm letting go of everything. And the reason why I need to not be scared is because I know who I am. I know that I'm a hard worker. I know that I have a mentality of growing. I know that I'm not just gonna be comfortable and this is gonna be my last home. Like, I'm sure I'm young still, and I can, if this person wants to be a piece of shit and wants to take my house or fight me for it, go for it. Because at this point, I'm so trouble in my head because I'm not at peace. I'm not even happy in my own home or at peace in my own home, that I'd rather let go of this home than living here and staying with this person just to keep this home, this house. And so what I did is that I was able to not identify by my house anymore, because it became my identity. Like, oh, I built this. I built this. This is who I am. So here we go. And but when I realized that that's not who I am, that's a result of who I am, but that's not who I am. And then when I separated those two, when I separated, okay, yes, this is like a trophy, but really the engine behind it, it's me. And so if I lose this or if something happens, I know who I am. And I know if I'm capable of doing this as a single mom, because this person didn't put any down payment, nothing. His credit was shit. Like, if anything, everything was on my name, including his vehicle. So all this stuff, um, I knew that no matter what, I did it on my own. I can do it again. And I was not afraid anymore to start all over because I done it so many times. And I said, I am Asa, and I am a strong, independent, hardworking, smart person. So therefore, I'm not gonna, this house doesn't identify me. This is not who I am. This doesn't define me anymore. So I'm gonna let go, and and that give me power, my own power, because I was able to be like, you're not fucking with me. Nobody's fucking with me anymore. Because guess what? I know you can do this, you can do that to me, you can be rude to me, you can try to take away my house, take away my car, or whatever you try to take away, all this material stuff. You can always take that, that's fine, but you will never take away what I have in my brain, what I have in my soul, what drives me to do this and keep it. And if I'm not able to keep it because you try to steal it from me, that's fine. I'm gonna be able to, I know I have what it takes to do it again. And that was very powerful because that teach me that material stuff don't define me. And the material things are here and are great for they're part of the human experience. They're part of the experience in this 3D world and the material world. You get to experience that. But it's not what we are. It's just an accessory of what to come to be part of us, like an accessory, but it's not actually us. It's not even part of us. It's just something adds on, like it's something that you add to your experience. So I felt like this whole situation with this job was the same thing. I was um, when I was in the postpartum depression and working for the toxic company up until October 31st, that's where my mentality was again, where like I need to have this job and I need to work this many hours, and I cannot lose this job because this represents who I am, and because I'm still working even though like the economy is not doing good and I am making good money, and even though I'm fucking exhausted, and even though I don't have time to go to the gym, and even though I don't have time to spend with my baby, and even though I don't have um like time for creation and artistic side of things, it's okay because I'm making money, and that's what it's all about. Like, I identify so much with my work. And then life and my higher self um pushed me out of that comfort zone, and and it felt like punch really hard in my stomach. And but I realized it was necessary because I was so stubborn. I was so stuck on my ways, and I was so stuck on that belief of this is who I am type of thing. And that's not who I am. And I am grateful that it hurt and it was very painful, especially for my ego. Um, it was hard to go through that stage, but it was necessary because I lost sight of who I am. And I do believe that things do happen that seem bad, but later on, when you look back, you realize it is because it needed to happen. You either needed to move, you were too distracted, you were giving it more power to material stuff, to things that don't matter, and you were losing sight of yourself. And so now I my mentality changed a lot. My mentality changed a lot from last year, even up to December until now. I had a really huge wake up call that brought me back to who I was before all this pregnancy and all, I'm not pregnant, like my pregnancy with my baby, postpartum, and all that. Um, so it brought me back to Asa, who is positive, who is capable, who believes in all these things, who is a spiritual Asa, and left behind all this pain and stuff. And honestly, I'm in a better space than I ever been before. And the reason why I am in this better space is because life smacked me a little bit to get out of that stupid mindset that I was in. And it reminded me that that's not the point. The point is to enjoy. We are here to enjoy. And if we're doing something and it's not enjoyable anymore, and we are just becoming, because I don't get me wrong, I know you're gonna have some bad days like I talk about in my other episode. You can check it out. Um Sometimes we're gonna have bad days and not everything's gonna be perfect, but when that becomes your lifestyle, when you are constantly angry, when you are constantly bitter, when you are constantly resentful, when you are not enjoying your experience here, it's because you identify so much with your job or with all these problems or with all this negativity going around you. And instead of using it as something positive and understanding the reason why these things are happening is because they're trying to get you out of this job, out of your comfort zone, out of this situation, out of that relationship that you're in, and you're still not doing it, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening over and over, bad things until you are like, oh shit, okay, this is why you're doing that. You are doing this because it's not good for me, because you have something better for me, because God has something better for me, and I am wasting my time here in places with people in situations that are no good for me. I already outgrow this. And this is the reason why sometimes it feels so bad when you are in situations, because you're not moving. And life and God is trying to be like, dude, move. And you're like, no, no, I'm gonna stay here, even though it's hurting, even though like can't go and be happy anymore. I'm gonna stay here because this is it. And I think that's why I had a huge realization actually, with the last episode that I was recording, actually 2 episodes before, and I was like, why do I feel like I am growing a lot, but it doesn't feel like before? Before, growth used to feel very painful, and it used to feel like uncomfortable, and it used to feel like something bad has to happen for me to move. Why is it that I'm growing, but I'm not feeling that pain anymore? And I was like, what? Like, I always say that Life will make you feel uncomfortable, and you grow in the uncomfortable, and you grow in the scary and unknown, and bad things are going to happen for you to move. But guess what? I just find out that right now that I've been in the calm water, and I've been more chill, and I'm actually looking for growth because I have the time for growth, because I'm actually actively seeking this growth and listening to my inner voice. I am growing, and I am growing hugely. And so I never thought about this, but if you are constantly in a desperation, and constantly chasing, and constantly stuck, and constantly not listening to your inner voice, and constantly judging yourself, and constantly believing in this negativity in this material world, and you get stuck in this, what society tells you to be, that's when life is gonna try to smack you a little bit. That's when life is gonna bring things that make you uncomfortable, to realize, to wake up, because you're sleeping. But when you are actually awake, when you are actually seeking, when you're actively looking, when you're actively listening to your inner self, life doesn't have to be hard. I was like, fuck, what the heck? Like, it's true. It's true. If you don't want life to be hard, then don't do it. Like, listen to your inner voice. And even though it seems like you can't trust it, and I know, and it took me so many smacks, and so many punches, and so many like kicks, for me to finally get it. And I get it now. And I get it for some of you guys, is gonna be like that, because it is hard. It's hard to trust that God is gonna provide just out of thin air, but it does happen. It is hard to imagine, when, because my belief, depending to your beliefs, right? For me, my belief was, I have to work hard in order to get money, and I have to work myself to death, and so I can achieve these nice things. But in reality, that's just how my brain worked. That's just how my brain got that belief out of, I don't know, my childhood or something. And I didn't think nothing else was possible. So when life put me in this uncomfortable state, in this uncomfortable I guess, era in my life, when I'm not working, when I only have my savings to keep me afloat, and then my savings run out, and then I'm still waiting for court, and then I don't have a job, and all these things that look like my, for what I know, from my foundations and my beliefs know, is that, dude, you're fucking up. You're fucking up because you don't have a work, you don't have a job. You're fucking up because you're just chilling at your house. Like, who the fuck you think you are? Like, you are like fucking up because you're just relaxing. You're fucking up because you are not providing. You're fucking up because you're not bringing crazy amount of money. And then I was like, I'm gonna, that's what I know. But if I truly preaching this, and I'm truly going to, I have to believe in what I'm saying. So I know this, and I knew this for a long time, the manifestation, affirmations, attraction, all these things. I believe that, but I never apply it, because what's the main ingredient? Faith. And faith is something that you have to believe, even though you don't see it. And it is just so fucking hard to do that. It's hard to believe when your whole world and all the things that are happening around you are telling you otherwise. So, that being said, I had to sit in the uncomfortable, and God put me in the situation where there was no other way. You either trust, or I'm sorry, but you're sitting here. You're sitting here with no income. You're sitting here with no job. You're sitting here with depression, and you're sitting here in the unknown. And the economy doesn't seem so good. So you're just sitting there. And you're either going to have to trust me, or you're going to have to keep sitting there. And I decided to let go. I decided to let go of all this. I decided to trust God. and it was very uncomfortable and it was very painful, but I did it. I decided to just say, you know what? I'm trust you. You I'm telling you what I want, and I'm still showing up. I'm still um being there, like working on myself. This is all I can do. Clearly, I can control the unemployment. I can control the courts. I can control when it's gonna be like the next call on my union. I don't know. I don't know. I can control that, but I can control me trusting. I can control me keep showing up to the gym. I can control me finding ways to grow myself. I can be a good mom. I can start doing the projects that I've been needing to work on around the house. Those are things I can control. And those are things that feel right. And those are things that needed to happen. So, but I let go. I let go and it was uncomfortable as fuck, but I let go of all those beliefs and I let go of all that stuff. And the moment that I least expected it, it just happened. And I was wondering, I'm like, so am I like gonna be back to being an electrician? Like, or am I gonna open my own company? Or am I just gonna focus on this podcast and just maybe go back and be a bartender? Because I used to be a bartender at some point. Or I've been doing tattoos, so I'm like, am I gonna like be doing that? Because that's really what I wanna do. I'm like, but how am I gonna bring the money to get my license for tattooing? So I'm doing all this, but I was not desperate. Before I'll be like, oh my God, desperate and then desperate, and I need to find how to do this and how to do that, and oh my goodness, like, and now I'm like, no, I'm just putting these ideas out there. I'm telling God what I want and what I like, and I'm working on myself, and I'm doing therapy, and I'm doing the podcast because it's also therapy. I'm working on myself. I'm working on being a mom. I'm working on being a better person. And I am ready. I'm ready to show me the way. But another thing I learned too is you can just like be undecisive and expect God or the universe to provide for you. Because sometimes people do that. And I used to do that. I used to do that when I used to be like, oh, well, if God wants it, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. But in reality, it doesn't work like that. And then a lot of people is like, well, I leave it at God's hand, but I never see anything. Like, I don't, but it's like, it's because you don't know what you want. If you don't know what you want, like, how do you just want someone to decide for you? Because if someone else decides for you, are you going to be okay with that? You have to decide what is it that you want and put it out there. And something that it was with me is that I was like, well, I want this, but my mind be like, oh, who do you think you are? You're not gonna get this. Like, okay, okay, I want that, but then I will be over here looking for jobs that don't align. And I did that before a lot. I like wanted something, but I was over here looking for something that I don't want. And so this time, the difference is that I said I want to keep tattooing. I want to focus on my podcast. And as an electrician, I don't know when I'm gonna be back to being an electrician, but I know that I don't want to go back to a big um, commercial job anymore because I am a commercial electrician, but I also can do residential. And I knew in my heart I didn't want to go back to a big job. I knew in my heart that I don't want to be also doing what I was doing before in this last company um, that I worked for last year, that I was working crazy amount on hours. And yes, money was coming in, but I was so tired. I was exhausted. I didn't have time for myself. I didn't have time for my family. I also didn't want that. I said, okay, if I'm going to be an electrician, I want be doing residential. I want to not work crazy hours. I want to have a schedule, and I want to work this day to this day, and I want to make sure I said already what I want, and I had that in my head, but I wasn't pressing on it. I just knew what I want, and I wasn't looking anymore for something that didn't align. That's why I wasn't really looking and not looking for a job. It's because I was looking out there, I was seeing what was out there, but I wasn't anymore looking for something desperate just because I didn't have a job. I said I'm going to be seeing what's out there, but if it doesn't align, I'm not even going to apply. I'm just not going to do that. And it's like I said, this is crazy because something told me, like, check that website. I checked that website in the morning. That call seemed very interesting to me. It aligned with me. I put it out there, but I didn't be like, oh my God, I need to get it. Oh my God, and check it. No, I trusted. I trusted that if that's for me, I'm like, this is, I've been praying for this. This is the job that seems like it's aligned with me. And if it's meant to be, this is the one that God sent me, then it's okay. And if it's not, I'm not going to be mad because that means that's not the one. That's not the one that God sent for me. The one that God sent for me, it's going to be. But I already decide what is it that I wanted to. You have to also make that decision, because if you don't make a decision, it will never happen. And then you'll be mad. A lot of people, I know a lot of friends, they do that. They get mad because they don't get what they wanted. But it's like, but you're not being clear, because sometimes you say you want a kid, but then sometimes you say you're not sure, and then you doubt it, and then you say yes, but then I don't know. And it's like, okay, so you have to make the choice. Same with a job. It's like you have to really be sure and not be scared if you get it. So this is a little bit of a long episode, but it was just so much going on. I feel very inspired. I feel very ready to tell you this. And I know um, a few people that have reached out to me and tell me has been really helpful, and they appreciate sharing all these things, because sometimes all we need is to be vulnerable with each other. So I really hope this can resonate with you in a way and help you in some type of way. Just know that you're not alone. Thank you for listening to this message from my inner voice aloud. Thank you for being here. If anything I share resonated with you, just know that you are not alone. I hope you can be here for my next adventure. Don't forget to get out of your comfort zone. And alright, stay messy, stay curious, do something that scares you today, and don't forget to listen to your inner voice.